Happy Tuesday, brother.
Happy Tuesday to you, brother, and to everyone else listening and watching.
Anything for the cold open before we get into it?
No, I had this really cool idea that I would ask you like quiz questions, and then I forgot where it was gonna go. So I'm still I'm in the lab. I'm in the lab, continuing to work on that.
All right. So, next week, quiz questions.
Yeah, all right.
All right, let's get into it. All right, welcome, joyous, jubilant rejoicers of the internet. Welcome to yet another episode of the Geekoid podcast with myself, Eric Westland, and my bestie, Jarrad Shaw.
That's me.
Yay, he said hi. We're recording on a Tuesday, which is unusual for us, but, you know, we're just going to see how it goes.
We're trying to get them in, and so we
get them
have
out
something.
there.
Yeah, get them in, get them out there.
We have a number of different things. The Fantastic Four teaser dropped today.
It was so good.
For a period piece, it looks pretty excellent. I wasn't too overexcited, but I was kind of hesitant. But I liked what I saw.
Same.
I think it's a good reset for Marvel Phase 6. Like, I feel like they kind of went off the deep end in some different areas. Like, Quantumania was just what? And so this feels like a little bit, I mean, it is an origin story, so it's a little bit back to basics. But I think it's what Marvel, the MCU needed.
Yep, I agree. This is going to be, I think, the first Marvel movie. I don't know. I don't remember the last Marvel movie I went to see. Does Deadpool and Wolverine count?
Yeah, of course it counts.
Okay. Well, then I don't know before that what I went and saw. But this one I will go to the theater and see. And I feel other people might feel the same as me.
I would say I would if I didn't have a child. That just complicates things.
It does. It does.
Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe, who knows? Maybe he can take care of himself or my dog can take care of him and we can go to see a movie.
I think so. I think your dog is way smarter than you give her credit for.
Well, thank you. I'll let her know. All right. What else do we have on the docket to discuss today? I mean, we have switched to...
It's really, this is so dead. Like, after CES, which also was meh, you know, unless you were like, wow, new vacuum.
Come on. There's a lot of NVIDIA stuff at CES that I was jazzed about.
Yeah. That was it. Like, NVIDIA was kind of it. So this is kind of the dull period. There's some, like, iPhone rumors, leaks about maybe them refreshing the SE to more the phones we have now. No home button, a notch, or island, but that's about it. And then there's rumors that they're going to revamp their Plus line. So you have regular Plus and then Pro and then Pro Max. And the Plus line doesn't really sell very well, so there's rumors, but those aren't really hard. Really, the only rumors I keep getting are Switch. Everybody's really, really excited for this new Switch.
Well, Switch sales have slowed down, and I think a lot of that is anticipation for the Switch 2.
Oh, yeah, totally. But still, even with that, like, I just saw...
I heard that they just crossed the 150 million unit mark for the Switch, which is pretty dang incredible.
It makes them now the second most selling console of all time, right behind the PlayStation 2. And surprisingly, I saw another figure that it's their third behind their own which Game Boy was it? the Game Boy 3DS. I think it was the 3DS or 2S. You know what? They had like 2D and 2DS and 3DS. But even with that, like 150 million copies or units sold, and PlayStation 2 was like a little over 160 million. So they're not even that far away from the PlayStation 2. It's really impressive. It's really cool. Kudos.
Yeah. I saw an interesting comment or infographic. It's like Microsoft has just given up the console war. Nintendo's just off doing its own thing, and Sony's just fighting against nobody.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, whatever.
It does kind of look like that. Like, sounds like, again, rumors that Microsoft is starting to talk to the other console makers and be like, hey, what do you think about having some Microsoft games?
Well, I just heard Forza 5 is coming to the PlayStation 5.
Yes, and it sounds, there's even a rumor that potentially, and I don't know how this is even possible, but like even Switch 2. But that, just the fact that it's coming on PS5 is like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that was one of the differentiators between the two consoles, and I guess they're just thinking maybe Sony is just pulling ahead in the console games, like that. They're conceding and saying, hey, why don't we put all of our games on everything and just get as much market share that way, which isn't a bad idea.
No, but it does feel like it's kind of a, does it feel like Sega? Because Sega was trying to Dreamcast and Saturn and stuff, and then they saw that they could not compete, and so they kind of pulled back. Well, they did. They pulled back on their consoles and said, here's our games. And then they slowly did other things. Microsoft has bought so many companies, though, over the last, 5 years that, I mean, they can't do that third part I just talked about.
So I think Microsoft is in a very unique position because they're a publisher, a developer, a distributor. Like they are vertically integrated from top to bottom. And that gives them a unique position in that like the console war is no longer super relevant, especially with the move away from like physical media. Because one of the biggest things about the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4 era was Blu-rays.
Yes.
And if you remember, Microsoft backed HD DVD, and then eventually they had to switch and put out like a console with Blu-ray. And Sony was getting royalties from their Blu-ray patents for all those years.
Right.
And that was a huge driver of Sony trying to be successful with the console war. And now it's, yeah, you get to make $10 for every game that's sold on a console, or maybe it's up to 15 or 20 now. But like Microsoft is like, okay, we'll just almost give these games away for free with the Xbox Game Pass on the PC, on the Xbox. Heck, you can start to play stuff on your phone and your like all these different platforms. And I think they're just trying to meet the consumers wherever they are and just grab market share that way. I think they'll come out with another Xbox to rival the PlayStation 6. But I don't think winning the console war is going to be a goal for them because they're just selling so many games anyway.
Well, there's talks, too, that Xbox wants to get onto the handheld bandwagon. But I think with this push that they've been doing for many years since, God, like I was in California in 2014, like subscription has been something that Mark and, or not Mark Cerny, but the people at Xbox have been kind of on, they've been very positive to do something like that. And this is, I think, showing even more so that they're like, there's other ways we can make money because we own these developers, we own these studios, and so we can just start taking cuts and then looking at Xbox Pass as our subscription service. And I think with the handheld, because there's you've got Steam, you've got ROG, I think they're seeing numbers that I don't think you see. I don't see that might showcase like, okay, we could pivot a little bit.
So I don't think the Steam Deck, the Asus ROG Like, I don't think that handheld market is all that large. I would love to see some numbers that prove me wrong. It's obviously nothing compared to the Switch.
No,
So-
I think last thing I heard was Switch sold 150, Steam Deck sold 3 million, and ROG, whichever one, because there's, I think, a couple.
Yeah, but they're all Ally or
Yeah, they're at maybe 1 million copies.
But here's the thing: everybody's got a phone,
Sure.
and I think what's eventually going to happen, and it's taken a long time to get there, is is Congress or the judicial system here in the United States is going to eventually tell Apple that you have to open up your platform. You cannot be closed anymore. Like the European Union has already done that. Like if you're in the EU, you can get the Epic Games app on your iPhone and you can play Fortnite from the Epic Games store.
And other third-party software.
Yeah,
that
and
opens up
plenty
the
of people.
system.
Like Microsoft, I'm sure, is just waiting in the wings with their own Microsoft store or Xbox store. I mean, there's already an Xbox app on the iPhone. So you can imagine it would be a quick hop, skip, and a jump to actually selling games and allow you to play your games library on your iPhone. And I think, honestly, it's just the best thing for consumers. And I think Apple's whole we do it to protect consumers is BS. Because the amount of crap that gets onto the App Store that is either illegal or pirated or infectious and dangerous, their protections are nonsense.
Well, yeah, I feel like, too, a lot of their Apple's steering away from, and this is just an opinion, purely an opinion piece, but it's, I feel like in the days where product and creating something innovative and then like really honing down on that compared to what the sales have been doing, which have been, I mean, God, their earnings reports was again another 4% increase, 4% previous year and previous year. So they're trying, I think, in my opinion, to keep that momentum. They want to keep that 4%. And now I wonder if they're at a place over maybe now 10 years that to create something innovative, I mean, we saw it with the Vision Pro, would not be in the investor's best interest. And so I think there are things that are now getting the company used to be very hardcore about. The App Store was really hardcore. I remember when you were trying to develop, an indie game and just trying to do research on the rules and regulations to get that game potentially onto the App Store was like a gauntlet. And I don't know if that was shitty back then, but I don't know if those types of people, I think the rules are still there, but I don't think it's as tight as it used to be. And so then you're seeing, crap getting thrown in there like, yeah, sure. And some Joe Schmo.
Well, the volume of submissions that Apple's receiving, there's no way that they can go over each submission with a fine-tooth comb. And so stuff is going to get in. And that's just the fact of life.
And Nintendo does too. Like, there's a podcast I was listening to, and one of their favorite segments that they've been adding in is like quantity over quality. I don't remember what it's called, but it's like dumb Nintendo games that made it onto the Nintendo eShop, and it's like.
I think the threshold for getting onto the Nintendo eShop is a little bit higher than it is to getting on the App Store. I think the cost to be a developer for Nintendo or for a license or whatever is probably higher. I can't confirm that because I've never looked into it. But it's not a lot to become an Apple developer. And that, like, a good part of that is they wanted to democratize app development and allow anybody to create an app. And now anybody can. And so they have the problem where they have too many people submitting stuff. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see.
But I did want to pivot a little bit to talking about game developers. And we were talking about how Microsoft has all these resources, yet they still managed to lay off who knows how many different studios and people at those studios. Same with EA. And news just came out today, I believe, from the makers of Mass Effect. That studio, while the name is completely BioWare, there we go. So BioWare, the studio head, basically came out and said that all their focus has now shifted to Mass Effect 5. They're done with the Dragon Guard, Veil Guard, whatever. Dragon Age Veil Guard, I think that's what it was. And so they said they have a smaller core team working on it, but effectively all the chips are in on Mass Effect 5. And I love the Mass Effect franchise. I'm very excited for this, but at the same time...
What was the last one? The last one that was not well received. It was like a side...
So you had the core trilogy, Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, and then you have Mass Effect Andromeda, which effectively was a reboot where you travel to a different galaxy.
Yeah.
It's so different storyline and everything. I enjoyed it. I thought it was
you
good.
did?
Yeah. But it was a bit of a departure, so I'm curious to see if Mass Effect 5 will continue in the Andromeda universe or if it will go back to the original. So we'll see. All that being said is that I really have to question how much investment EA is throwing behind the development, because EA and most publishers, like the big cash cows, are these games as a service or live service games as they're known. It's your Call of Duties, it's your Diablo 4s, it's the games that are able to eke out recurring revenue every month or two with a new season pass and new cosmetics and all this, and like these big AAA single player games that are epic and have a really solid fan base. Like, they're not able to eke out as much profit as a lot of these live games, as the MMOs, and so like investors, that's not what they're clamoring for, but there is still an appetite. So leadership at EA has to figure out how much do they want to invest, what do they think they can get back. I never played Mass Effect multiplayer. Apparently it was a thing that existed.
Me neither.
Maybe they'll double down on that, and maybe they'll try and make seasons out of it. But again, like, it was really known for its storytelling and the epic arcs, and we'll see.
I mean, I don't know. You've got machine gun games or machine games that just, under Microsoft that just did Indiana Jones, and it's like a smash hit. Everybody is still talking about it. They beat the game, and there's... Oh, well, I'm listening more video game news than you are, I guess.
Probably.
So, yeah, like, Indiana Jones is still a huge hit. And that's a single-player game. So, maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. I don't know if Mass Effect... Well, I know EA really loves their multiplayer. Like, they make their bread and butter off of all FPS games. So, you're probably right. In FIFA and other sports games, which aren't FPS, but EA makes a shit ton of money off of multiplayer games.
Technically, it's not FIFA anymore.
Oh, that's right. R.I.P. But long story, you're probably right. I kind of hope not. Andromeda wasn't a multiplayer, was it? It was single player.
I think, the core was single player. I think it had multiplayer aspects.
Oh, okay.
Like,
but the core...
you could play multiplayer. Yeah.
That sounds almost like Last of Us. Last of Us was core, single player, great. And then it had a multiplayer, beat everybody up before the clickers got you.
Oh.
Yeah, it was really good.
I didn't even realize Last of Us had multiplayer. That's the thing with a lot of these
really good
single player games is, like, do they want to spend the time and the money to develop a multiplayer experience in the hope that it sells more. And that it is a really difficult decision to make because developing multiplayer for these games is not trivial. And like
GTA.
there's all sorts of live operations and hardware costs that go along with hosting a multiplayer game. And I mean, GTA, like that game is still kicking in the multiplayer, and they've managed to like really execute well on that. Like that is probably the best example of having an incredible like single player campaign also with an incredible multiplayer experience.
Yeah. GTA Online is just handing them money. People are still playing this game 10 years later.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I don't know. 10-ish. That's
10.
crazy. And they're talking about GTA 6. And there might, allegedly, it's supposed to either come out this year. I have a very strong feeling now that you're talking about EA, Mass Effect, multiplayer, and the ungodly amount of money Rockstar is making off of online, they may delay GTA 6 to maybe 2026 to really make sure online is there. I would be curious to see if it comes out now or if it comes out this year, and then if it has online, and if they wait a year for the online portion. That'll be cool. Cool, like, future what's going to happen thing.
Yeah. So
'cause I am not Nostradamus. I do not know the future.
What else do we have on the docket today? I have some notes here. Speaking of live games that have been going on for a while, No Man's Sky apparently got a huge update.
Dude, they've been getting updates for...
Yeah, another game that's been out for a decade.
And it's... I really want to play it now. Like, people are talking about it again like it's a brand new, unfortunately, now fleshed out game.
Yeah, the launch was lackluster. It kind of fell on its face, but the amount that they've invested over the years has been really impressive. And this new update, like, apparently adds trillions of planets.
I bought it when it first came out.
Like more content than anyone could play in like thousands of lifetimes. But you know, they're still.
Well,
doing
the
it.
idea was supposed to be not Minecraft, but the idea of like you go there and you could spend the rest of your life there. Yeah. And then it came out, and unfortunately, it kind of didn't. But now it sounds like, yes, you could spend the rest of your life.
So a lot of this has been fueled by the studio developing their new game, Light No Fire, which is...
Oh, I don't know that one.
It's very much a epic RPG set in fantasy times. That is supposed to be multiplayer, and you can take on the world however you want. And so it sounds very ambitious in that regard. If you think of No Man's Sky and transitioning into a multiplayer fantasy world where you can do anything and be anything, and that's a promise that we've heard many times over. But as they continue to build that game, all the improvements that they're making into the engine, they're able to just bring back to No Man's Sky because they're just building on the same engine. And so that allows them to just not generate free updates and content, but very streamlined and integrated into their pipeline.
Dude, that's fun. I really hope... Does No Man's Sky... I don't know this. I kind of hope No Man's Sky is on Switch, because this would be a fun game on Switch and to drop into the dock, play on the TV, and then to take with me. But I don't think
it's not a bad idea.
Oh, shit. I think it is.
I mean, it's 10 years old. I figure it could run on a Switch.
Oh, snap. Oh, I think it is. Oh, it's $23. It's $24. Oh, it's also cheap with everything going up to 70. Oh, snap. I know what my next game is.
So yeah, I mean, it's that is the one area that I think we're going to continue to see flourish with all these major studio closures and layoffs. There's so many people with talent, and they're just going to start switching to developing indie games and developing indie studios. And just that's something I want to highlight on the podcast going forward, is highlighting maybe an indie game a week. Just because there's a bunch that have just had incredible success, like a one-person developer. It's like, oh yeah, I sold 200,000 copies in the first month. And that's like, you can definitely make a living doing that.
I might start highlighting then iOS, since I keep there's a couple of channels that I follow. And
okay, you focus on iOS because I absolutely not into mobile gaming.
Yeah,
With the exception of Hearthstone.
Yeah, because they translate with iPad. Yeah, I love it. I love it so much. So yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'll do that, because there's some really cool games that have been coming out, and with the new tech that the iPhone and the iPads have, it's getting bonkers nuts. Like, what shit is coming out that looks not AAA, but like it looks like it would be on a console.
With the rapid pace of technological development, I feel like there's, I don't want to say convergence, but I'd be interesting to get the perspectives from Unity, from Epic Games on, because on both those platforms, you're able to develop and target effectively any device. And they do a lot to make it easy to develop for all devices simultaneously. And I'm curious to see what their perspective is for the future, if they're seeing more convergence or divergence.
That's cool.
Across these different form factors.
That's cool.
And I think Switch is really does a good job in trying to push people towards the convergence rather than the divergence.
I think so too. They've been pretty well known for always using older tech, but within their tech, they work with the different manufacturers to create older tech to do newer, more modern things, ray tracing, machine learning, stuff like that, and to output older stuff to do some pretty impressive things. The Switch was on an old Tegra X1, which is like, that was 10 years ago, 8 years ago, and I think that thing was like 3 to 4 years older than the Switch. And yet, somehow they pushed out Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Like,
that's the thing with older tech. Like, the first games that came out for the PlayStation 3 were not the same pretty games that came out at the end of the generation. Like, there are lots of improvements that developers are able to make and performance that they can eke out of existing hardware by just learning how to develop with it.
That's true.
And so I think that's probably a benefit of going with a tried and tested hardware architecture that Nintendo seemed to shift towards. Like, they don't need to have cutting edge ray traced everything at 4K and 140 FPS. They're really focused on the experience, and it shows.
Yeah. I think even too with their price point, the price points are looking closer to like a 450, 500 console compared to $700. So that's also kudos to you. Again, the original Switch was $3. The Switch OLED was $350. So people are thinking more like they're not thinking $4, but they are thinking like $450, and then maybe a bundle at $5. But it's still really like kudos. I said it once before.
I think it's gonna have to be that, because like with what we were seeing, 11% inflation over the last few years. Like, it's going to have to go up.
I hope these new tariffs don't affect anything.
Well, we haven't heard any tariffs against Japan.
No, and I think most
I don't
of their...
know. I don't know where the Switch is being manufactured. Is the problem.
Vietnam. It's not in China. It's in Vietnam, which I don't think there's any tariffs there currently.
No, just China.
Okay. So that's positive. I think Sony has a lot in China, so it'll be interesting to see. Though they got the Pro, so I don't think they need anything crazy right now.
Yeah, no, probably not.
How much was the Pro again? Like $800?
It was ridiculous.
Did you buy it?
No, I don't play my PlayStation 5 enough to justify that. Even now with the fall of Redbox, I don't even use it to play Blu-rays. It sits there and it collects dust.
Yeah, I don't buy DVDs or Blu-rays anymore. I just digitally download or digitally just watch for Heartbeat, and then
so there's games I do very much want to play on it. It's just I don't have any time. This
is something else I've been doing too. I don't know if it's you too, but now I buy a game and I will finish that game before I buy a new game. Where before I would buy like 10, because I'd be like, "Wow, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool," and I play a little bit, and ADD on it. And now I'm like, nope, let me finish this, and then I'll go buy the next one.
I was like, there's a bunch of games I really want to play.
Yeah, same.
Like the latest Star Wars one. I still haven't played Starfield, which I know I would love. I haven't beat Aliens Dark Descent yet, but I probably will this week if I have anything to say about it, because I really want to. But the pre-release for Civ 7 is 2 days away.
Yeah.
And I don't see how I'm not plunking down full price for that. I don't see how that doesn't absorb the majority of my time going forward. So it doesn't make sense to buy anything else.
I bought Odyssey, Luigi's Mansion 3, Mario Kart. Mario Kart I can play whenever. But I'm trying to finish. I want to get Metroid Prime. Now, I've seen a lot of reviews on it and a lot of positive reviews that I didn't know. Again, 10 years, not being Nintendo, all this kind of stuff. A remastered came out a few years back. And I'm like, this looks crazy good. Like, picture Doom and Halo had a baby, and yet Nintendo made it. And I'm like, that is crazy to me, because Nintendo is Luigi's Mansion, which I just mentioned, not Doom and Halo. And it looks fantastic. But I'm not going to buy it until I finish this game first. And then
there's also a new Doom coming out.
Yeah, Dark Age. And there are very strong leaks saying it is coming to Switch 2. And I'm really excited for a medieval Doom.
I'm pumped about that. I mean,
yeah,
having worked on the franchise, it's part of me.
Yeah, I played the last one, and it was so good. My computer, it was the ROG you gave me, so it barely held up, but it was great. I loved it. I had to turn everything on low, but it was great.
Yeah, it's one where you have to sacrifice for the frame rates, because you can't play that on a low frame rate.
What a cool game. That's all I got. We can end this at 34. We can do a shorty but a goodie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the Super Bowl is coming up this weekend.
Oh, Chiefs! It's good. It's good. You won again. Congratulations. Go.
Are there
yellow
any
and
commercials you're looking forward to?
red. Fuck. I do not. I don't watch sports ball. You're the only nerd I know who watches sports ball. I don't do sports ball. I kind of do soccer. That's kind of it. And thank God that's only 4 times a year. Or 4 times a year. It's only every 4
What
times
league are
a
you
year.
watching?
It'd be a lot. It's only every 4 years.
Oh, the World Cup.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of FIFA. Yeah. Yeah, the World Cup. Yeah, that's the only sports ball I watch. And that's like, I don't watch Olympics. I don't watch baseball, volleyball. I used to watch the X Games. So if there was like some cool skateboarding and BMXing and snowboarding, yeah, I'd probably watch that. That's kind of cool.
All right. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap it. Jarrad doesn't watch sports ball.
Fuck your fucking gigantic pigskin, what the fuck ever, that deflates and people still win.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. Follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, on
X now?
YouTube.
Blue Sky?
X.
Are we on Blue Sky?
I have not created an account on Blue Sky.
Well, everybody's migrating, so get on the bandwagon.
Yeah, okay. Follow us on Facebook if you're still on Facebook. At Geekoid on all the socials.
We could do a Facebook group. That's pretty much what everybody uses Facebook for in nowadays.
That could be fun. We could arrange some live streams and some kind of community group play sessions.
Yeah, we could have one of our friends be the admin.
Play sessions just sounds weird.
I know
inappropriate.
I know exactly who I'd want to be admin. Art. But
You make him the admin. All we're seeing is Star Wars content.
I mean, do you know how many people he would kick off the group for saying just the one dumbest thing? Oh my God. I would, hey, his fee would be Jameson every month.
Yeah.
I can't afford more than that.
He would have a blast probably.
Yeah.
He's the most anti-person.
Just scrolling, looking for some jackass. Delete.
It feels like we need this to be a Reddit group and not a Facebook group.
I love Reddit, but are we an old generation?
We can have multiple communities.
Old and new. Yeah. We could do a subreddit.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm not big into Reddit, but this is
We could do
definitely something we should
Discord.
explore.
That's newer. Not new at all, but it's newer. We could do a Discord.
That's not a bad idea.
And
I
Discord,
really,
I think we could record. I think people could actually like talk to us, unlike Facebook and stuff. I don't know the whole Discord.
I mean, we could, yeah. I like Discord and how it's used for communities, and I think there's potential for us to do. We could do live shows.
Yeah,
I really got to just publish these before we get to that.
just bank them. We've got episode 1. People are they're
We have listens. My parents listened to it, and they said
it was okay.
they're like, I had no idea what you were talking about, but good job. And then my mom's like, hey, Chris, have you listened to it? Because he mentions you in it. And my brother's like, send me the link, yo.
Oh, shit. Oh, Chris would know what we're talking about.
Yeah, he would.
We didn't talk shit about him. I love your brother.
Yeah. But
Love you, Chris.
as long as my mother-in-law doesn't listen and catch news about how I swapped the Christmas photo face of her son.
Oh, that was last episode. That's not coming out for like 2 months. It's fine.
No, it's going to come out this weekend. That's my goal.
I'm gonna timestamp this. February. Did you already timestamp it? February 4th, 2025. So if this comes out next year, it's no worry. Whatever.
We might need to do like an update tracker on her awareness and the awareness of other members in the family.
Yes. So
I don't know if I mentioned that
one indie game, one iOS
our sister-in-law.
game. Oh no! What?
Oh, she's like said, oh, it's a very special picture.
And she didn't catch it?
No, she definitely caught it, but she was in the room with my mother-in-law who did not catch it.
Your mother-in-law did not catch it.
No.
Yes.
So
awesome.
Apparently it's been printed, it's going into multiple baby books, and it's going up on the mantle.
Oh, who knew you had such a famous person in your family's life? Not Brad Pitt, you dum-dum, Ben Affleck. Oh my God. I love Affleck. I'm a Kevin Smith fan for years. I still follow Kevin Smith like a hound sniffing a tail. Man, yeah, Affleck for life, bro.
And on that note, thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, guys, for all the ranting and whatever. But everybody else does it too, so why can't we?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this could be after the end.
End of transmission.